guys, welcome to Art Insights number 3. Today we are talking about the 10x rule to art. So what is 10x? 10x essentially means if you're going to do something, do it 10 times harder than you would before, right? Or do 10 versions of that thing in order to improve it. And so that's what we're doing here. We're taking essentially one piece and we're turning it into 10. And the idea here is to not judge or reflect on the first 9, but wait for that 10th one. Okay, so if I'm drawing a hand from one position, I'm going to draw it once and then I'm going to draw it 9 more times to truly understand what I'm drawing, right? And by the time you get to the 10th one, this applies to almost all principles. It's like doing 10 thumbnails of something on a page. Generally speaking, the later thumbnails are going to be better than the early thumbnails because you're warming up, you're getting used to the ideas, you've started to incorporate the principles into the right side of your brain. Like you're starting to incorporate like deeper thinking on this. You've exhausted your usual, typical generic designs, and now you're starting to step into realms that are challenging you and probably making better designs. So that is essentially what it is. The idea that a lot of artists, we struggle to hit something the first time when we do something. It's completely normal. We all know that, but we also know how hard it is because we have like this existential crisis of like, I can't draw landscapes or I can't paint something. Well, yeah, how many times have you done it? Like, that's the thing, is like we prejudge ourselves so early on that it actually paralyzes us from producing more work. So the 10x rule is essentially, can you suspend your emotions until you've finished 10 of something? And that's what I've tried to train myself to do in the past, and I've found it incredibly useful, because if I do something very complex, like when I first started painting landscapes, my first landscape looked terrible. There was like not that much depth. I didn't know what I was doing with my values. Like things were all over the place. And I was hitting a lot of walls. And I realized like, oh my gosh, I need to go back to the fundamentals. I need to learn like what it means to drop, shapes in space and get them to work. And then I need to apply it to Visual Library, right? So I had a whole process, but the learning process took me to that last figure, which was 10 pieces. And that was my first goal, is to say like, if I can do 10 of these, then I know I will improve, right? One of them is not going to make me improve. 2 of them is not going to make me improve. And why the hell should I be satisfied with 9? Let's go for 10. So by the time you get to 10, you have this entire library of work behind you that you can look at and say, okay, there's been growth here. I've 10x this. Let me do it again. Let me go for 20 this time. And let me consider the 11th painting the first painting like I did the first time. How much better can I get, right? So you can see what this does is it changes the way you think into like, I'm now in the learning process. I'm not necessarily looking for immediate results. I'm in a study mode, right? So I actually learned this principle from someone who taught it to me directly, and they said like, hey, don't judge your work until you've done 10 of these, all right? And I thought to myself, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say, like, you're so good, like I thought it was just, of course, like I have to put in all the practice and the deliberate practice, right, to get good. And later on, I slowly started to realize, I thought to myself, okay, what he actually means is I need to put a wide gap between my current expectations and the results at the end once I have a body of work to look back on. And that's very powerful. It's a principle that took me a while to kind of realize, but the moment it clicked, I was like, okay, what I actually need to do is chill out and produce more work, right? So I hope that's been useful for you guys today. It's pretty basic. There's nothing super complex about this one. It is just a general principle of if you start something new, imagine it as 10 pieces and then just motor through and see how you do by the time you get to the 10th one. And don't give up until you get to number 10. That's the other part of this, is like 10 is there for a reason. It's to say, I'm not allowed to give up until I get to 10, because 10 is the number I'm aiming for, right? And no matter how bad the work is, I just keep producing the work until I hit that number. When I hit that number, then I can have an opinion about my work. And what you'll find often is that you're going to have a much more positive opinion of it. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. This is an interesting subject that I've thought a lot about, and I apply it even today to my own work. In fact, I'm learning Blender right now. I'm applying the same concept of like this crazy UI that I'm not used to. And I'm applying the 10x rule there to see how I do with the whole understanding thing of it. So let me know what you think, and if you like this video, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe, and maybe even hit that bell notification so that you know when these new videos come out for you. I try to do one a week. It's pretty hard to find the time for this, as I'm art directing and also teaching at my school, but I hope you guys appreciate this, and I'll see you in the next one.